All right. Welcome. We have Eva, myself, and Zina. We're going to be talking about the yoga teacher training program and beyond. And it's exciting because Eva is my, I don't know what we'd call it, but we're yoga buddies. Yoga buddies.
Definitely yoga
Uh,
buddies. And
yeah.
more than that and beyond.
Yes. And beyond.
Wow.
That's been, definitely a highlight for me. But yeah, I think that's a great way to kind of maybe enter into this, is this idea of beyond. I love hearing individually from person to person of what the beyond aspect has been personally for them. And so what has that have been like for you within this program the last 7 months, I guess now?
It's been already 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond. The word beyond really encompasses the experience, because I have gone through yoga teacher training before 17 years ago. And this is a whole other experience. Definitely beyond any training that I thought would have been. I didn't know what, again, my heart was going to bring me forward into. And it's not only the space, you drive into this incredible space. It's not just a space that you go to, in a yoga studio that it's in the city. This is in this beautiful, those acres of land that the moment when you drive into it already sets the backdrop and that holding space of nature with experience. The teachers are truly seniored, and they teach in experiential way because they've lived what they're teaching for so many years. And I can really appreciate that. It's not just the knowledge that's been learned. It's the mentorship and experience that we're getting that is incredibly rich, and the presence in it, and to settle in it and be able to receive it, whether it's the philosophy, which could be very dry, but it's delivered in such a, again, experiential and knowing way, that I could sit there for hours and listen to it, full of curiosity. It's incredible. Same thing when we are doing the practice. It is that experiential knowing and anatomy in experiential way, and meditation, and us as well. When we're practicing with each other, we're learning through this experiencing on each other how to be with one another. And so it is beyond just the actual core knowing. It is, I feel like there's information, and then there's holding, and then there's experience, and then there's experience of all of us, and then there is a land. All of it together, it really is beyond just actual training itself, and the depth of it as well that it takes us on, because it's the experience between each other that we have, like the friendships that we build with each other over a period of time, the closeness. Again, it's another word beyond of just going and studying and going out. There's such a love, felt between all of us, and care. And it is because we are being held in a container of love and care by the instructors. And we receive it, and it's like children, we give it to each other because we're truly in it. So yeah, it is definitely beyond itself, the training. And I've thought about it, how many things it has offered for me. Because it's not only community that I received from this, I feel so part of the community in ClearBeing. And for myself and my husband as well, he stepped into the community right now, and he's having his own beautiful experience with this, my children being part of it. And again, it's not just the training itself, because there's so many offerings outside of in ClearBeing that also bring us the experience of whether it's a one-on-one session with the instructor, or if there's a, if there's a 1-day retreat, or it's a weekend retreat, or it's a dance, the surrender, and where we can also express, yes, and meet each other, just like we had last Sunday, yes, with Zina. It was wonderful to actually experience this. And then friendship that we built, yes. So yeah, so much more beyond. Yeah.
Yeah, what comes to me is it's the container that has been created. I love this idea of even individually, that we have to have this container to allow ourselves to flow, right? And so what I feel has been done with yoga teacher training and beyond, with this program specifically, is the container is so solid because the people who are creating it are, like you said, so embodied in what they teach and what they know. It's not just information. Like when someone is just giving you, almost regurgitating information.
Yes.
It's not that, right? It's
Mhm.
they have taken information that they have learned and they have integrated it, and it is now their own wisdom that they're sharing. So there's a depth to that, and it creates such a solid container. And you combine it with the nature of ClearBeing, the land, right? And being surrounded, because come onto that space and you just feel so held. And I feel like it just allows us to fully relax into the experience as much as possible, like just allowing ourselves to unfold. That's what I got through your talking. Like that's what I don't know, that's what was coming forward. It just allows us to kind of, dance in our own kind of way.
And it is translated. I'm not sure how you, Jen, but it probably similarly, but it's, for me, it's that in my own practice as well, because that allowing things to be, and it's, again, without judgment and with such a love, and allow ourselves to, even when we're in a class, that's continuously, it's through mistakes that you learn. When you fall out, when you fall over, you strengthen. It is the process of learning and being a student. It is so beautifully honored and supported that I find it really reflects in my own life now and in my own practice, in a way that I allow myself to be a beginner. I've allowed myself to strip what I've known and then go from scratch again and rebuild the body in a way that it's supportive and it's held and it's loved, and so it has translated to completely different practice, even though it's the same practice that I've used to be having, but it's a completely different, because it comes from the place of less is more. It's okay to do what is needed in this moment, not to force the body. And I found astoundingly that it's, as I am gentler and I do less, my body opens up so much more. So it's whole paradigm of how I relate to myself has shifted through this process as well. And it's because this is what the wisdom of the teachers we have continuously is bringing forward, the same thing. Less is more. Let go. Listen in. And I have such a great appreciation for this, because it's especially coming from very much Ashtanga background and very strong, physical willing my body to do things, to let go and allow the body that felt so broken coming into this program to rebuild from scratch and have space. Because in this program, it is a beginner program, which is beautiful because it really strips away everything. We have space and time to strip everything we've known and rebuild from scratch. So as we're building, just strengthening the wrist, strengthening the back, strengthening the ankles, and learning how to build the body up in an honorful way. And then from there, the expression of more challenging poses comes, like a magnificence all of a sudden shows up. But it's not by pushing and pulling, it's from that space that we've held for ourselves. Or at least I can speak for myself, that I've held, that my body all of a sudden is happy and strong and capable by surprise, not by forceful push. So it's been really interesting that holding container we have, as you said, from the teachers completely translates inwards into transformation that I never expected or never thought I even needed. It's a surprising piece.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point too, because it is a begin, and it is intended for beginners. It is a beginner program, and then there's people like myself who don't have as much experience as you do with yoga, and then there's someone like you who has been through, another teacher program, right? And then also your years of practice and how beneficial that has been for you. I think that's important to note and to highlight. And like how you were mentioning of, I think the integrity piece, right? You mentioned that
Yes.
integrity piece of like, I think this is a really important part actually to discuss, is because, and you actually have another perspective on this as a massage therapist, because you've seen this of yoga injuries
Yes.
and the prevalence of yoga injuries. And I know you were talking about, was it Ashtanga, the experience that you have of like pushing, right? It doesn't mean that that's how it's always taught, but there can be a level of pushing that happens within the body in yoga, pushing it to perform in a certain way, and not always in a way that the body is meant to move, right? Especially different people. So I'm wondering if you care to expand on that and what's coming forward within your own experience about that.
But the pushing, it's not necessarily taught that way, but it definitely attracts people that are well, for me, it was an attraction for me because it was a very physical form and allowed me to feel my body, but also in my mindset was really to push and will my body to do whatever I wanted to. The body was in service, whether it's willingly or not. It was very much coming from my persona that I've been, over the years, the body kept halting. When I was younger, it obeyed absolutely. It was many injuries, but I recovered quickly. As I've got older, that's completely come down, and my body started to get injured. And eventually, with the disc herniation, it was really humbling. Okay, now I can't do what I wanted to do. I can't do what I think my head wants to do. My body is just automatically saying no. And it's just from that place of, now I need to work with my body. I can't force it anymore. I need to listen. What is it that you need? And slow down. And it's very humbling because the ego is really, what was really loud in a way. I felt awful not being able to do what I know that I wanted to do. And I kept approaching my practice, coming back the way I used to practice, and that wouldn't work anymore. Because within, a few sessions, I would start feeling again sore and in pain. So doing this program allowed me to, again, let go of everything I'd known. And I also learned that a lot of things are not being taught the same way anymore. And they're not even that contracting the glutes. This was where I was taught for years, let it go. But that's such a big aspect of strengthening the back. And I found that when I've been practicing now and letting go continuously, that's what they've been giving the instructions, and we're encouraged to listen to your body. This is the program where it's continuously, you're not going to be pushed here. This is all about listening to your body and slow down. Less is more. And to keep hearing this over and over and over, and allow myself to strip myself from that need to force my body. And to, even with the time, a few times through this program, I had a time when I couldn't practice in the way that I wanted to, but have the support even of the instructor to say, maybe right now you just move the way your body wants to move. Maybe you dance, maybe you rest, maybe you do the just restorative, practice, or maybe it doesn't have to be an hour. Maybe it can be a few minutes. And to have the flexibility and allow that flexibility in mind to be able to be brought into my daily practice meant that my body it has given me a tremendous amount of space and presence for what it is that serves me, and integrate them both, not just the body itself, not just the mind, but integrate them both with the meditation and with the breath. So it becomes a whole experience. So now, 7 months into the program, those injuries that I've had, they don't bother me anymore. My body feels stronger. Most of all, I feel like I've put together the broken pieces in a way that honors my body, and I'm continuously coming continuously to the practice from the space of listening what's needed. And if the edge is here, can I go a little bit less? Or where is the ease? Come from the place of ease and listen to what happens, what's happening in this moment. So it's become a tool versus, it's a tool to really come back home into myself. It's not just the physicality of it, like going for a run or going, doing workout. It's a very different experience of a practice of a yoga, because it's together with meditation, with breath and that movement. I really feel how it just, when it allows me to clear what's restricted, but in a gentle way, or sometimes just by being with it, it just transforms without forcing. And it's amazing. And it's incredible to actually have that aspect. And I feel like this is a tool I'm going to take into the rest of my life with me, because now I feel this way. I can practice, like I'm in my 50s now, so I can practice until I'm 100. It's because this is not, it's not a practice that's going to injure me. It's a practice that's going to honor my body continuously, even deeper and deeper. And this is just the beginning.
Wow, beautifully said, Eva. It's just like every world. It's amazing how you're describing your practice and self-care, self-love, and and understand, like feel what it's actually really good and feels like embodying. And it's just amazing. You described all of your sensation and experience, and also like your practice changed. It's like amazing. I'm just wondering also, are you practicing with others? Are you started also apply with others?
I really love how this just kind of blended into my practice very smoothly, because I've started to, when I work with clients, in body work, it's very passive, and to add that active component as well, and to be able to have even few, to integrate even my practice with, not my practice, or my massage practice, but integrate the body work with the client after the treatment, has been really wonderful. So I have not started full-on classes with all of the clients at this point, but what I've been doing after sessions with certain people, just showing them different practice too, whether it's for the wrists or whether it's for the back, or releasing the low back that we've just been working on, or releasing for the SI joints. So it's been a really beautiful addition to my practice in that way. And with some clients, it's just like I said, just 1 or 2 exercises. With some clients, it's almost a class, and it feels like that is something I would love to just keep on adding in, and eventually just bring in, because the learning that, like the teaching that we're going through and what we're learning, I find that it's giving me incredible understanding of the body in movement, and the benefit of adding this into a passive practice that I have with clients is a profound value, because that's giving them a tool to as well to do it at home, and to do it specifically for their body, what it is that they need. It's amazing. I find that, especially with somebody who has a challenge with their low back that I'm working on, I feel their body, because it's under my hands, and then to be able to guide them into a few positions and show them what to do at home, and then add a little bit of emotion movement with them to integrate it and get that nervous system response and that body mind connection right there happen, it integrates the whole treatment, and they have much greater benefits from this. So, but I'm not sure where it's going to lead me. I would like to, I feel like this, the next step will be to keep maybe offering one-on-one classes to, or maybe 2 people or 3 people with similar challenges that they have. Because there are certain areas that continuously see with its shoulders or back, and maybe designing the classes specific for those clients, and offer what that they can deepen, their body, but to have ability to do this individually as well. I think it's of tremendous value, because it's we can really work with the needs of specific person and design the practice for that. So yeah, so that's where I am right now, and we're practicing with Jen otherwise with each other, on each other, and we'll see where it's going to take us later on. I feel like this is a whole new avenue, a new world that's opening up.
It's great that you have a partners, right? And
Yes.
yeah, and you just practicing with each other and learning together. It's really great.
Yes. Yes. It's important to have, I find, because just to even brainstorm the ideas or put it all together, or just like when we, Jen got one book about different poses, to take ourselves through that and see what's important before we actually practice with somebody else, just slowly building that confidence to speak, to teach, to even confidence in ourselves that we're, like, I think, do this with each other, so we know we're not hurting somebody, but we're doing this in a way that's honorable, and we can give each other feedback, and that's been incredibly beneficial.
That's great. That's amazing. Are you also practicing the hands-on?
Yes. Yes. That's probably, like, when I'm with my clients, the hands-on adjustments are probably the biggest thing, because I'm right there with them. And my family benefited, because I've been teaching my husband, going through this, putting my boys up as well. My kids doing the practice, and doing hands-on. Actually, his response has been just, I really love when you do hands-on, and because it just makes a different difference. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody who's around you benefiting from that yoga teacher training.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's just, it spreads everywhere.
Beautiful.
You can't separate it, because it's part of life. And and especially as a mother with 2 boys, with the kids, like, they see me practice, they see me in daily meditation, they see me in daily practice, they see. And kids, we know, they don't learn by what we tell them, they learn what they see, and they're also part of that. So, and it's been beautiful to be able to meditate with my son, and and just allow it to be part of life. I have my sacred space, but I also have my space upstairs when it's living room, which I will, when we're all together and I feel there's a certain body part that needs attention, I will do some practice right there with them, and we all to do this together, and it's been wonderful to have that.
Yeah, it's beautiful when you're starting and everybody like joining, right? Like, oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the spark.
Yes.
That's great. I would love to hear, how was the retreat for you? The retreat is our part of our yoga teacher training. Yeah.
The retreat was incredible, and even this is beyond, going back to beyond. That's to have that included in as something that for us that we need to do. It's mandatory for us to do that retreat, which was I felt was really great. Going to silence, all of us together, and process what comes up, and honor each other's silence, and have the teachings from Carolyn, and the meditations, and from Karusha, and from Zhenya. allowed for even deeper way of coming back home inside, and the space to, and they held the space beautifully for what arises as well. And I think it gave us the space, for me at least, it gave me really a chance to want to retreat from being in the daily life and to do this together there, right there on the grounds. Was a break from a life that was necessary to listen deeply. And the final ceremony, I think all of it together just came so profoundly for me, this final ceremony that we had by the fire and the reflection on it all. That retreat had translated into my life in so many ways, because I've got insights into the process of unfolding that's been happening within through this, at that point was, I think, 5 months of yoga teacher training and life itself, because we know we're in a training here, but it's also spreads into the effects spread into our whole life. Like it's just, and we're living life, and each of us is so unique coming to this program from very different backgrounds, and being together in this unifying container together, I think allowed the space even deeper than ever to go inwards, be with the discomfort, be with the comfort, be with the wisdom, and be with the challenges that arise. Food was delicious. Delicious. It was so nice also to come and stay in this beautiful space, and the rooms that were exquisite, and to be able to go for a walk on the grounds. I mean, this experience itself was worth it all. Yeah, I absolutely loved that silent retreat.
Yeah, and for many people, it was a new experience, a silent retreat.
That's true.
Yeah. But I think it's a beautiful way to first experience that type of retreat, because there is such a, like you said, like by that point, I think you said 5 months, we were probably 5 months in, you've already gotten to know the group that you're with, and yeah, so it's a beautiful thing to get to explore with people that you're on this kind of 9-month journey with, to unfold in such a beautiful way.
I found it just opened us, like vulnerability to each other, and there was opening in each of us, all of us, just where all of a sudden it was a space that we've never felt with each other before. And there's, I just feel so much love, there was so much love felt, and and experienced in this moment, and it just carries on with us now afterwards. It's beautiful experience. I've done different silent retreats before, but again, doing this together with a group, it was different. Very different.
Yeah, I felt significantly closer to everybody after that. And it's interesting because you didn't really, it's not like you got to know each other in a traditional way of like being with a group in a like you think, okay, a weekend with these people together and you feel closer after, but it's we were in silence, so we weren't necessarily, you weren't having conversations. No, but you feel it's felt, right? It's felt in the energy, and it was felt in how each person showed up authentically and vulnerably in the dance, right? Like in the
Yes.
dance, in yoga, in the meditations, in the sharing circles. Each person was showing up in their truth, and you feel that it's felt. Yeah.
Goes to show you, how much the words many times are unnecessary and maybe too much. Sometimes being in the silence and just with being with each other, we get to know each other deeper than ever by speaking, and which really reflects also on our practice. Yes, because it's really the yoga practice, and especially that we're learning here in this program, is all about gaining that interoception, that capacity to go inwards and to hear, and that place of silence that we all experienced was a beautiful example of that. And I think, in life, like, just because we are normally leading very busy lives, it's not, especially being in a city, where we are by society, it is a fast-paced life. So when you can take a moment like this, it's a gift. It's a gift.
It is. And it is, I think, really necessary for our nerve system, like, just to calm down and just to be in silence. This is our natural state, I think, just to be without all this, loud, environments.
Yeah. And a ClearBeing definitely holds space for that. Yeah.
That's the place for silence.
Well, it's in the name too, right? Clear being. It's this place of really, that is, I feel like the intention underneath that is to come closer to being, and finding whatever that clarity, that groundedness, that centeredness within ourselves. And I think that's really felt at Clear Being. Yeah. Well, not necessarily silent retreat. It's just felt at Clear Being,
Yes.
So, yeah.
So true. And then clearing, I find also with the name, for me, it's clearing what's in a way, but it comes up to the surface when we're in that silence, or in that holding that it provides, because it's very evident what comes up, and then just to allow it to transmute into whatever it is that's going to transmute with clarity, and to be able to be in clarity with ourselves. Yeah. So it's quite an interesting process. Quite an interesting process, yes. We embarked on those 9 months. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Eva, for coming and being with us today and sharing your experience. It was an honor to have you. Do you have anything else to add for somebody that's interesting maybe now and listening to us and wants to take a yoga training, something to tell them?
I would say just to listen to their heart, listen to their knowing. There's lots and lots of yoga teacher trainings, and quite honestly, I haven't looked at anything because I wasn't intentionally trying to have a yoga teacher training. I didn't try to go to it. It was simply, all of a sudden, I opened up the email, Carolyn's email. I felt called to go into the open house to see what it's about. And then it was a knowing that it's just, I need to do this. And in that moment, when there is curiosity starts and something presents itself like this, if somebody is looking at the program, there's curiosity there. There's something in them that it's resonating with that. And if this resonance feels strong enough, and it feels like there is a yes, then to follow that, because I really trust, it's never about talking somebody into anything. And I It's about whether it resonates within the deeper calling that's within us. Because if it does, and if something feels that this is the right thing to do, then from my experience, at least, anytime I step into unknown like this, it only brings me tremendous benefits for my growth benefits and growth of, and knowing that the growth that I'm going through at this point, my body is ready, my soul is ready, my being is ready for, because it's been presented in itself in front of me. So to listen to that inner voice, to listen to that inner knowing, because it will never lead us astray. So if it resonates, there is a reason for it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much, Eva. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. It's an honor.